pricing is everything. Of course, in real estate, this has always been the case, but now more than ever in changing markets, it's even more true today than ever before. See, I'm Jennie Wallach, and I've been in real estate for 25 years, and I've been through all of these different markets. And although I'm always learning and growing, there are some hacks or tools or systems that we've used in the past that come back around. And so I was just thinking about when I'm talking with my team or other agents about how to properly price a home. There's so many methods out there. There's tons of technology. And of course, there's the Z word that is already putting a number in our clients' minds before they even talk with us. But we know, and this is why we are professional salespeople, is that we are consultants and helping them with the best strategy, because that's what price is a strategy so that they achieve their goals. So, along with just picking a price based on current data, and sometimes you may notice this. I mean, depending on the behavioral style of the client, they may have some strong opinions about how numbers work. And I'd like to remind people is that real estate is not an exact science, even for those people who believe that it may be. And so everything starts at the consultation and first and foremost, understanding why they are making a move. Who cares what the price is? That doesn't even matter. We need to know how to help them achieve their goal. Is it that they need to be somewhere by a certain timeline? Well, then we need to make sure that the price is strategic so that they can beat the odds of that average days on market. This isn't just the math of price per foot, which makes me crazy. Instead, it is a science in that we are going to make best guesses based on what is currently going on. Now, as you know, as time goes on and markets evolve and change a bit, we need to be on top of that by first, just as real estate professionals, understanding our micro market, even spreading it out a bit to understand our MLS and what's going on. Of course, the more detailed we get and specific, that may be what is needed for a certain neighborhood because you know those intricacies and details. But first, just educating the client from the very start of the macro market. See, our MLS does an awesome job. Each month, we get the full report of the previous month's data, and we can see how the market is trending and what is going on. So I like starting there first and foremost. Here's everything. And now let's dive in a little deeper. And the tool that I want to share with you is just this 3 by 3 by 3. And this is a method I learned long ago and it often works. Of course, there are always exceptions to the rule, but if you are going to sit with a client, I have found that I don't want to be the one telling them what to do or telling them what the price should be, because what ends up happening? You get mud in your face. It doesn't work out, and now you're a jerk. And I don't want to be a jerk. I want to be helpful and I want to educate and consult so again that they achieve their real estate goals. So the idea with the 3 by 3 by 3 is that first you in your quiet time, maybe even after you've seen the home, which is always smart and not a bad idea, that you preview the home, you understand what is needed to really get it, to get that top dollar. And then you look at and pull the top 3 matches to their home that are active on the market right now. That is their competition. How are they going to win the contest? Then I look at the best comps that are similar, comparable, that are pending. This is the reality of the market. Now, we know though, when the property goes under contract, that the sales price was what it was listed at the time it went under contract, but we don't yet know what the final price will be. Now, if you are smart and educated on the list price to sales price ratio in your MLS, and you also are seeing a changing market that in some price points, sellers are paying concessions, you could maybe guess there's a little bit of wiggle room because you may not be getting 100% of your listing price in today's market. So you need to be educated on that when you're sharing with the clients. But that does show what properties did have a buyer and seller agree on the terms. We just don't yet know what the final number is. Now, the third of the three numbers are the closed. To be very honest, this is recent data that's important, but it could be, in the past. It is in the past. So how fast is the market moving and adjusting? So don't go 6 months back. I don't even go 3 months back at times. I might just go back a month in a snapshot. What is really happening right now that a buyer and seller agree on? It closes and funds. Everyone has, moved on from the sale, and now we have the real data. Some MLSs provide if there were concessions inside of it, ours doesn't. So we could still maybe guess that there was some wiggle room inside of that final price. We just don't know unless we call and ask the agent, things like that. But what this does now I'm sharing all of this and I am old school. I print the pages out with the picture and the detail and all of the facts about the property, the days on market, any price adjustments, and I let them look at them. I ask them, especially with the active competition, how does your home compare to these three? And they will tell you, well, I know that house. I've been in it. I went to a party there, and actually, their home has more updates than ours. Or I've been to this house, and you know what? The floor plan is really wonky, and this and this. They'll tell you everything that they know about it, or if they've already gotten online and done the research, they will be honest with you about how their home compares. Then, based on those nine properties that are the details and the data with the strategic listing price inside of them because you picked these comps, then they get to decide on what price makes the most sense. Now, say there's this low range to this high range. Now, another piece that really matters inside of this range is their timeline. If they have time and it's still within reason, yeah, you could price at the top of that range, not above it, but at the top of it. If they need to be somewhere yesterday, they need to price at the low end of this range because, again, they have to beat the odds. If the average days on market is 43 and they need to be under contract and gone in 30, well, they've got to make a choice. Do they want time or do they want money? And they do go together and are a nice little dance. And so determining which of those they choose is up to them. I'm not choosing the price. And yes, they will always say, I don't want to give it away. They will always say, I can come down. And it is your job to do your very best to educate them on the realities of missing the mark. Instead, we want to price ahead of the market into where the market is going, not to where it was, because you'll just continue to chase it down. And you can share the stories and examples because you know that you have some. And if you don't, agents in your office sure do. And if they don't, call me because I have lots of examples of where people missed the mark because they were trying to squeeze a little bit more out of it, and in the end took longer to sell and had to reduce lower than where they could have even just started in the first place. Another little hack is to put it in their mind the understanding of an auction. So whenever you have that range there and they think, well, if it's too low, I don't want to go even lower. And just ask them if they've ever been to an auction or know how an auction works. See, whenever things are priced great or low on the low end and still has a lot of value, what happens? The price gets pushed up, and you know that we are used to multiple offers from our recent market. So we know how to best help them in negotiating the best deal when it gets to that situation. And just remember, they will never ever have to accept an offer that they don't like. It's their choice. And it's just your job to help them get to the finish line. And if we don't share with them the importance of pricing out of the gate and use that as the majority of our conversation, then we are setting them up to fail and setting ourselves up to fail. I hope this pricing conversation is helpful. Nowadays, it sounds very natural for me to talk this way, and it's only because I've taken the time to educate myself, whether it's attending trainings or classes or taking bold 18 times and listening to shift over and over again on replay. Tactic 9 is all about pricing. You have the tools, so just tap into them, have confidence, price your seller's listings correctly, and you're going to have an amazing year. So let me know what you think. How are you doing on the pricing combo? Do you need any help? You got it. Just knocking it out of the park. Talk to you later.